It's hard to believe we're into September, I know, but let's talk a little bit about what's left in this month and what we're expecting as far as home values, home prices here in the Grassland area, and how quickly the market is moving. And there's a lot of chatter too. A lot of people are asking me right now if we're going to see a bubble burst or a bubble pop, kind of like we did with the economy back in the 2007-2008 recession. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I think the answer is right now. First, let's go over what we've seen leading up to this point. So we got all of our numbers back from August 2020 here, and what our real estate market showed here in the Grassland area, which is a little bit of Franklin, Brentwood, this northwest part of Williamson County, all sort of like put together in the Grassland Schools area. And what we saw was our average or our median price home sold was $610,500. We're looking at a inventory rate of about 3 weeks on the market. So that means basically with the amount of homes we have on the market compared to how many homes sold last month, which was about 60, and this month we have about 45 on the market, we're looking at those homes on the market right now to be absorbed within about 3 weeks. To give you some perspective on that, it's considered a healthy market where it's not a buyer's market or a seller's market, just even at 6 months. So to only have 3 weeks inventory, not even a month of inventory, really tips the scale in sellers' favor there. There's just not enough homes on the market for the amount of buyers that we're seeing right now. What we're seeing is interest rates have really fueled a lot of the buyer push right now. On top of that, we're seeing larger cities, people who live in, say, New York, Chicago, California. Now that a lot of people's jobs have gone to remote working for the foreseeable future, if not indefinitely, people are saying, oh my gosh, you know what? I can have this exact same job and live anywhere now. So why not live somewhere where I pay lower taxes or there's a change in my quality of life otherwise that might make it a good move for me. And for the first time ever, we're looking at a large amount of people right now who are renters in those high-priced cities who may be looking at a place like this to come live and be homeowners for the first time in their lives because now their jobs are mobile and they can. So as long as we have that pipeline from those cities coming into the Grassland real estate market, as long as we have low interest rates, we're still going to see this push in our market. Do I expect there's going to be a bubble pop? I get this question so often, and my answer here is no, and let me explain why. What we saw in the 2007-2008 recession is nothing like what's going on here. It was completely different circumstances, some shady lending practices, inflated incomes, inflated home equity, home values, everything was just completely based on raw numbers. Numbers that just really they didn't hold any water. What we have this year is a worldwide pandemic, which is a completely different circumstances. Lenders in the years since the recession have completely tightened their lending standards. And in fact, since COVID hit, we've seen them even tighten more. As far as the people that they're giving loans to at this particular moment. That's not stopping them, however. We've had loan interest, mortgage interest applications increase. I think it's up, 40% from this time last year nationwide. Another thing that we're seeing is the amount of buyers out there, like I said, has increased. We've also got home sales expecting to continue to be on this upward rise, as well as home prices because the demand, not only through the end of 2020, but into 2021. And the National Association of Realtors going so far as to even say their chief economist, Lawrence Yun, has said that he expects home prices to continue to increase nationwide about 8% through 2021. So what I'm telling you now is basically if you want to buy or sell real estate, right now is a good time. If I were a buyer waiting to get in the market, I wouldn't wait any longer than you can financially afford to, because prices are going to continue to go up. They're going to continue to increase for the foreseeable future anyway. One thing we are keeping our eye on is mortgage interest rates. When mortgage interest rates start to, tick up a little bit, even a little bit, that can cause a slight disruption in our market and may cause home values and buyers to take a pause for a minute. It may just make them kind of stop and knock their confidence a little bit, and we will likely see the effects of that in the market. Having said that, if that is the case, I still don't expect that our prices in grassland are going to go down. I think if anything, they may decrease, maybe not the rate of increase we've seen so far. August 2019 to August 2020, we saw a 3% increase in our prices. Our market is outperforming where it was in 2019, but I don't think that if we see an increase, it's going to be any lower than 3%. Let me clarify that. We're not going to go below our values. Basically, our values are going to stay the same, or instead of it being a 3% increase next year, maybe we'll just see a 2% increase next year, or a 1% increase. So that's still yet to be seen, again, based largely on what's going on with interest rates. We have a political election coming up. We have a lot of other factors that kind of all depend on that ripple effect there. And so that's kind of the timeline that I'm looking at right now. Is I'm kind of saying to people, if you want to make a move in real estate right now, I would do it as soon as you can, because we know what's going on now. We know what interest rates are right now. We know what people are feeling. We know the confidence level. We know what prices are doing. We don't know what it's going to do in 2 months from now. We don't know what it's going to do in 3 months from now. And what happens after the election really is anyone's guess. But that is a timeline, though, that I'm looking at, that I'm keeping my eye on, and that I'm keeping in mind when I'm talking to people about real estate. Let me know if you have any other questions on anything. I'm going to wrap this up real quick, but I'm happy to answer anything. Message me, DM me, anything. I'd be happy to answer your questions if you have questions about hitting the market, or just kind of want to see what your home value may be worth at this particular time. Hope you're well.